Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Hope you all are doing well. It gives me an immense pleasure to get connected to you. I am Ma'am Ifat from SRM Elkin Higher Secondary School, Sopos, working as an English teacher. Today, I am going to tell you a story, and the name of the story is The Prodigal Son. This story is a parable. Let me tell you, students, what a parable is. A parable is a short tale that teaches a moral lesson. But before starting the story, let me give you a brief introduction of the story. The parable of the prodigal son, also known as the parable of the two brothers, lost son and a loving father. In the story, a father has two sons. The younger son asks the father for his inheritance, and the father grants his son's request. However, the younger son is prodigal. Prodigal means wasteful and extravagant, and squanders his fortune, eventually becoming destitute. The younger son is forced to return home empty-handed and intends to beg his father to accept him back as a servant. But, to his surprise, he was not rejected by his father, but welcomed back with celebration. The older son refuses to participate in the festivities. The father tells the older son, "You are ever with me, and all that I have is yours." But the younger brother was lost, and now he is found. Now let us discuss the story in detail. A rich farmer had two sons who worked with him on his farm. One day, the younger son said to his father, "When you die, half of everything you own will be mine. Give it to me now so that I can go off and have a good time." The father loved his sons and did not like to see either of them unhappy. So he counted his money and gave half of it to his younger son. A few days later, the son packed his belongings and bags of gold. Mounting his horse, he waved goodbye to his father and brother and set off. Mounting means to climb up, so he climbed up his horse and waved goodbye to his father and brother. After traveling for many months, he reached a foreign country. Deciding to stay there for a while, he spent some of his gold on a large and splendid house. Splendid means big and huge, so he got a big house. He spent his gold on clothes for himself and on presents for his new friends, who seemed to like him. He thought their gifts would make them like him even more. He invited all his friends to his house for feasts. Feast is a big meal, which sometimes went on all night. There was always lots of good food, music, and dancing. Spending so freely, his gold was soon over. In less than 2 years, he had to go to moneylenders for more gold. Do you know, students, what the word moneylenders mean? The word moneylenders mean the person who lends money with interest. Soon he had to sell off his house to pay his debts. That means a loan. He had no money and nowhere to live. His friends asked for help, but they just laughed and called him a fool. Unhappy and alone, he tried to earn money to buy food. But there was a drought in the country as it had not rained for months. The crops were burnt by the sun and the people were starving. He searched everywhere for work. At last, a farmer gave him the job of looking after his herd of sheep. The only way the farmer paid him was a small plate of food every day. Sometimes he was so hungry that he ate the sheep's food to satisfy his hunger. One day, when he was lying on the hard ground, he thought of his home and his father who loved him. He remembered that his father's servants lived in comfortable houses and had plenty to eat. "How many of my father's servants have more than they need?" he said to himself, "while here I am dying of hunger. I'll go back to my father and say, 'Father, I am no longer worthy to be your son. Let me come home and be treated as one of your servants.'" The young man stood up and set off for home. It was a very different journey from the one he had made 2 years before. Although he was dirty, barefoot, and ragged, his father recognized him. For a long way off, overjoyed, the old man ran to meet his son. "Father," cried the young man, "please forgive me." The old man threw his arms round his son and kissed him. Then he said to his servant, "Fetch my best robe for him. Bring shoes for his feet and a ring for his finger." To another servant he said, "We must hold a feast to celebrate this great day. For my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and has been found. Invite all my neighbors and friends so that they may share my joy." That evening, the elder son, who had been working in the fields, came home. He asked a servant why music and song were heard from the house. When he heard that his father was celebrating his younger brother's return, he was very upset. He told the servant to ask his father to come out to him. His father came at once and greeted his son joyfully. "Your brother has come home," he said. "Come and join the feast." The elder son replied angrily, "Why should I, father? I have worked faithfully for you, but you have never given me even a young goat, so that I could invite my friends for a meal. Yet the moment my brother comes home after wasting your money and making a fool of himself, you invite everyone to a feast." "No, I'll not come in." The father felt deeply sorry. He understood why his elder son was so bitter and jealous. "My son," he said gently, "you are always with me and I have always loved you. But please try to understand how I feel today. You are a good son and I have no reason to fear losing you, as I did in case of my younger son. He was lost and has been found. I have got a son back and you a brother. Forgive him his foolishness and welcome him back." The elder brother understood the wisdom of his father's words. Both father and son embraced each other and went in the house to rejoice. Thank you.